welcome to our news Flash Info for Monday, March 30th, 2015. My name is Keisha Brooks. The first batch of the new, smaller driver's license are finally ready for distribution. A press conference was held on Friday to announce the arrival of 475 credit card-sized licenses.
We have received the first batch of the licenses delivered here locally, and we found it was important that we make that information known to the public, for we know they have been going through some painful moments because some people are still not in possession of valid driver's license, those who have asked for an exchange of the Dutch license to French licenses. We also have those that has been successful in their first exam and are still not in possession of their driver's license. And then, of course, the couple of people who have lost their licenses and they were waiting for duplicates. And it is important at every stage to give the correct information, because we have realized that there was some erroneous information going on and so on. Now, we need to understand that this is an obligation based on European new standards that all the European countries would have to comply by. And since we have received the competencies for transportation and we have decided to get right into the system so that we can ameliorate ourselves as we go on. So there is an electronic device in our system, and some other countries have chosen not to put any electronic devices. But what we can guarantee here in St. Martin is that in the electronic device, we only have the information that are relevant to the driver's license. In other countries, that was one of the things that people were fearing, is that you have additional information that are not relevant specifically to the driver's license, like your blood type and eventually a number of social security and so on. So we are giving the assurance that the only information that are on our device here is the information pertaining, which means your address, the type of license you have, your date of birth, and so on. And of course, today we wanted to evacuate all the different, once more, all the different problems or the question that was already posed to us with regards why it took so long. So we went back over on the reasons. It was a question of unfalsification specifications, and also due to the fact that in our batch of documents that we had, there was some documents that were not being able, that could have not been able to be correctly exploited, pictures that were stapled or that had paper clips and so on. So we had to go over all the process to meet all the recommendations and the standards. So today we have 474 driver's licenses that are ready to be given out. But we want to make known to the general public that we are giving out, first of all, those that are being successful in their first exam where there are no charges, and also those who are subject to duplicates, because the prices has already been established. The reason why we cannot issue before the next 15 days is that we have to go through the legal process, because yesterday in our territorial council, the price has been adjusted for those who are in the situation of exchanging their licenses. We have, the actual price is going to be 200 euros for those, so we have to wait until there are no contestation by the prefect, who's normally appointed to verify that everything in the deliberation has been done correctly within the rules and regulation, and then eventually in the next 15 days, most of the exchange would be able to be given out. Now, in those 474, we have globally those that are new drivers, those that have exchange and duplicates. But in the exchanges, there are about 1,000. So this is only the first 100 or 120 that is coming out of this batch. But gradually now the process would be intensified, and those that are waiting their exchange would know now by the deliverance of these first driver's license that the process is now a reality, and that they would be in the next batch or the following after. Most of the people should come back to the office in order to update their files, especially for the pictures and the signatures. And the office is located in the Hallam Municipal of Gallows Bay.
We spoke with Territorial Councillor in charge of transportation, Louis Fleming, concerning the exchange of those holding a Dutch St. Martin or Sabre license.
Okay, and at the end of 2013, we were able to get an agreement signed with the state and the collectivity, enabling us to exchange the licenses that were given out on the Dutch side. So we decided that we will have them exchanged up to the year 2005. And then seeing the number of different people asking for those that pass their license in Sabre, we also get an extension for those on Sabre between 1995 and 2005. And they were able to put down their files up to December 2014. Or they have to bring a copy of their a valid actual license, the place of residence, and a photo, two pictures, and yes, 2 pictures. Exactly, yesterday in the Territorial Council, we take a deliberation pertaining to that. We augment the price for those at 200 euros. But that will be given on, we'll have 15 days for it to get it legalized. But one thing I have to add that though, those files are finished now. Since December 2014, we stopped taking files for those for exchange of Sabre license.
The new license has been in process for a few years now, so we asked Managing Director of Computech, Jean Arnel, what caused the delay.
Okay, I think the first thing is to go back to how this license became the responsibility of the collectivity. The first thing is that the collectivity became authoritative for this license in 2008, and they did not formally deliberate on how to build their license platform till December 2012. That's important. And subsequently, they formalized a public tender to contract a company to design and develop their license information system. This is not just about issuing licenses, but it's actually a platform to manage vehicle registration, car taxes, and licenses. So it's a platform. And software takes time to develop. I mean, France's platform took them 6 years and cost 30 million euros. In terms of the process, we implemented the first version of the license information system in July 2013. July 2014, to be correct. The tender was sent out in 2013. And the collectivity actually validated the license template in February of last year. And subsequently, we validated the personalization at the factory in Finland in September of last year. What happened from an operational perspective, as the department started entering data, you had photographs that had staples on them or other paper clips. And when you scan those photographs and those signatures, they were not compliant to the requirements. So we needed to clean up that data, had a certain amount of drivers come back and provide their information. In January, the first specimens of the driver's license were provided to the collectivity based on that information. And then in February, the personalization acceptance was signed. Once that was signed, then production could commence. From an operational perspective, the collectivity can get licenses as often as they want to. For now, we're going to try to bulk 200 or 300 licenses in the batches. So the next batch that is going out has 297 licenses in it. The first one had 474. And we can do this regularly because in reality, we send a production order to the factory electronically using secure communication mediums, and they ship them back to us. The license, there are many questions about, well, why the license has to be produced offshore and why it seems so complex. Because St. Martin is a European territory, and a European directive defines that the license have to have certain security requirements, and that is the reason why we need to manufacture a multi-layer license. So the production process of the license seems complex, but in reality the license actually takes 5 minutes to produce. It's because it's an industrial process. Once they get the batches prepared from the templates that are already produced, they simply run it through a process that personalizes the licenses with the actual names and photos, etc. It's a very rapid process, but it's an industrial process to put it all in place.
We all know it's difficult and sometimes frustrating trying to find parking in Marigot. But have no fear, Marigot Traffic and Parking is at the heart of the reorganization of the city. Today, the city of Marigot has about 800 parking spaces, and to improve the flow of traffic and parking, the collectivité announced between the two parking areas, between Gallis Bay and Sandy Ground, there are 500 parkings in anticipation of the implemented paid parking. They will begin by creating a temporary blue area on certain streets downtown. These areas will be paid parking. This course of action was put in place under the then Mayor Albert Fleming government while as a commune. In order to improve business and create a pedestrian-only zone in the city, a shuttle bus will be provided to and from the parking areas along the perimeter of the city. In order to improve business and create a pedestrian-only zone in the city, a shuttle bus will be provided to and from the parking areas along the perimeter of the city. The goal is to free up parking spaces in the city in order to meet the expectations of shoppers and businesses. This revitalization project in downtown Marigot, which is being built in agreement with the development of Marigot Bay, gives a boost to the economy of the French side, and it attracts tourism on a larger scale. Taking a look at the bulletin board, the collectivité informs the public that extra garbage bins will be placed on Gallion and Grand Cays beaches between Thursday, April 2nd and Tuesday, April 7th, which is the Easter weekend, and free distribution of trash bags for campers will be jointly conducted on Thursday, April 2nd by agents of the Natural Reserve, the company EME, and the collectivité of St. Martin. Well, this does it for this edition of Our News Flash Info. My name is Keisha Brooks. Have a good evening.